be able to at least. So, welcome to Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. Oh my gosh, so it's April. It's gorgeous out in Alaska. The snow is melting. April's one of my favorite months. It's so bright and sunny. I hope you're having an amazing time where you are. Yes, thank you so much. Hey. Oh my gosh, it's so fun seeing everyone. So, April is also when my daughter was born. I'm super stoked on that because it was so sunny. So like when she was born, I even though I had delivered over 1,000 babies at that point, I was like, it's so hot. It was like 70 something in Alaska, which in April, after coming out of winter, I was like wearing a tank top and shorts. And I just had my baby like in her diaper and we were like cruising around. I bring her to like her 3 day visit. And the pediatrician's like, I'm like, oh yeah, I just don't have any clothes on her because it's so hot. And the pediatrician's like, so do you see here how her skin's like mottled? Like that's when it's like kind of this marbly purple. I'm like, oh, that means she's cold. But it was so hot, like in Alaska. So anyway, here we are entering April where it's hot, getting hotter. All right. Hey, Haley. Hey, Bessie. Hey, Tiffany. So, the other awesome thing happening right now is my podcast is going to be dropping its 100th episode tomorrow, which I'm super stoked on. So I'll be doing a fun training for y'all to celebrate the I haven't decided exactly what to call it, but it's going to be along the lines of like how to figure out what's important in your life. Truly important. And it's going to be my gift to you to celebrate this amazing event of 100 episodes. So keep an eye out on your email accounts, okay? Check your spam, check your promotions, all that shit, okay? Okay. So today, what I wanted to talk about was how to know if you're making progress. Because listen, I have so many clients that think they're not progressing on their like spiritual path, even though they are. So it's a lot easier to track progress in business goals and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, I've earned this much or I've sold this many widgets. But when it comes to personal growth, I think sometimes we're confused about what progress looks like. And what I'm about to say will translate to other aspects of your life as well, not just personal growth, but that's the context I'm going to start off with. Okay. So, maybe you've been doing yoga for a decade and you're like, why can't I still like not rest my forehead on my damn knees when I do a forward fold? Or why can't I drop my heels in a downward dog even after all this time? Right? Or maybe y'all are like, I've been listening to 100 episodes of the Rebel Buddhist podcast and I'm still kind of bitchy. Right? Or maybe I should call the course the Bitchy Buddhist. Or like you've been meditating. Like maybe you started a meditation practice because you're in freedom school or something. And you're like, this doesn't seem to be working. My brain is broken. Meditation doesn't work for me. Okay, look, I've been there. Like all of that could be me talking at some point. So today, I want to talk about how we assess progress because usually what's happening is we think it's supposed to look a certain way. And that's why we think we're not making progress when we actually are. Like, and y'all know expectations screw us in the end, right? In our relationships and in our goals as well. So look, the way spiritual progress and stages have been depicted in the media and historically, we are sort of led to think that the path is this linear, very simple and progressive path. Like, hey, meditate, and then you'll end up over there on the cushion sitting on a lotus, right? Like as if living a spiritual life was like a linear route on a map that gets you from point A to point B in the most efficient way. And well, first of all, that's not altogether incorrect, right? With regular practice, we do open our hearts and our minds. Um, but the thing that catches us is that it isn't simply linear, right? And so there's no straight lines here. If you look at practitioners in any tradition, in Tibetan monasteries, in ashrams, Sufi mystics, Christian and Jewish practitioners, like all over, right? It's really challenging to find anyone who has a simple linear path. And we have this image like if we meditate enough, we're going to experience bliss and then we're going to feel connection and we'll forever be changed. Or like with psychedelics, maybe there's an amazing insight, a powerful experience, and then we're like, oh, like life isn't as that different as I hope it would be after that insight. So Jack Cornfield, one of my teachers, wrote this book called After the Ecstasy, The Laundry. Like that's literally the title of the book. After the ecstasy, the laundry, right? We are still going to be in the human experience as we progress on our spiritual path, right? This unfolding of our path is not linear and it's very creative, which is awesome, but it can also be confusing, right? It would be super convenient if the path to enlightenment was like predictable and orderly and linear so we could know what the fuck was going to happen next. But like any proper adventure, right? We're going to have detours, landslides, avalanches that block the road for a good amount of time. Do you guys remember back in February when I had just come from a show at Hatcher Pass in Alaska and there was a ton of snow dumping and I was afraid I wouldn't get out because of avalanches? So I left, I got out right after they just plowed the road and I followed the trucks down. I was like, if I don't get out now, I won't ever. Listen, an avalanche released a few hours after that. It is still closed. The road is still closed. I would have had to like helicopter my ass out of there. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to sneeze. Oh, I hate that. Oh, sneezing is so awesome. And then when you don't get to do it, it's such a buzzkill. Anyway, so yeah, that can happen on our spiritual path as well, right? Or switchbacks. You like literally walk in the opposite direction of where you want to go for a bit, but you do it to make the uphill a bit easier, right? Those things happen on our path and spirals. So this is what I found the most. I want to draw this for you here. I think you can see it. Let me see. Can my Facebook people see it? Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right. So the path isn't linear, right? It's not like we are like suffering and then bliss. This is not it. Not it. What I see more often is what I see more often is a spiral. So it's like we start off here and then the spiral's going up. I mean, I'm not a very good drawer, so maybe that looks like a downward spiral, but I'm trying to make it look like an upward spiral. So when we are on our path, like maybe just say we have an issue with self-worth. Anybody else? So we have this issue with self-worth. Actually, it starts here at our core, right? And then we go on and on, like maybe that manifests in, say, maybe putting your family's needs before your own. So let's just say that's an example, okay? So we have this experience and then we progressively go on our path and yet we fucking have the same issue. Oh, here I am again, letting my partner do XYZ, but I'm not doing anything for myself, for example. And then we go, what the fuck? Why am I still here? But look, what's happening is we are progressing up on the spiral and we're revisiting the problem, but every time it's a little different. Every time we have made a little more progress in this upward spiral, yeah? So we think, oh my gosh, I'm still doing it. But really, we're making progress. We just are, it's more incremental than we think. Like the concept of Kaizen, the Japanese concept of Kaizen, it's like a business philosophy where it's like small incremental change ultimately leads to big changes. right? Sometimes Western companies don't want to do the small incremental changes because they feel like it's not, well, I'm only CEO now, so I want big things to happen on my watch, right? As opposed to the long term vision of the small changes. So this is more Kaizen, right? Like this progress that we're making, and we revisit the same issues, but that does not mean that we're sucking at it. It does not mean that we're not making progress. And then sometimes we spiral back down a little, then we get back up. So every time, for example, so like back, it, we'll just keep using me as an example so you can see that this happens to all of us. So, like when my daughter was first born, I never said no to my husband. He's like, "Can I go do this? Can I go do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so. I don't really see why you need to be here. I'm just breastfeeding." It's like, "Oh, but I actually needed someone to like be bored with me." To like help me get out and do shit. But I didn't see that at the time. I just saw, "Oh, I guess I don't need you here immediately. Go do your thing. Do some work. Upward spiral. Hey, I only want you to paraglide like 4 days a week instead of 7 so that we can have a reliable day that the family's like all together." And circle back around. And it's like, oh, here we are again. Okay. So, now I don't want you to be gone for 3 months, 3.5 months out of the year to paraglide. Like we're going to scale back on that and make it like 2 months, right? Okay. Here we are back again. So it's like, I could have been like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But really, I was really making progress on that path until like now, here we are. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to buy a place in Hawaii. You're welcome to come. But this is what's happening for my own mental health. Bye. Right. And so, and I'm sure it's going to come back around again, right? But we are making progress on the path. All right. So, how many of you can relate to this? Like, yes, I have had different areas that I keep revisiting, and I feel like I'm not making progress because it's not as fast as I thought it should be, or as a not looking like what I thought it was supposed to look like, right? So, here's what Philip Moffitt taught me. Good old Philip. Philip Moffitt, a Dharma teacher at Spirit Rock, taught me like, you know, you're making progress when you have less intensity, less frequency, or less duration. Not all of the above, but any of those. So, like, is there decreased intensity, decreased duration, and decreased frequency, decreased intensity, oh my gosh, you guys can't even read that writing. Sorry, healthcare provider for like almost 20 years. My writing sucks. Decreased intensity, decreased duration, decreased frequency. Okay? So if any of those are happening, we're making progress. That's what it looks like. That is exactly what it looks like. We are making progress. If we have outbursts less frequently, if when we do get pissed, we're able to breathe deeply and let go of it a lot faster, right? That's decreased duration. Maybe when my husband does something that annoys me, I'm having less intensity around it. Like it still upsets me, but I don't rage about it, right? Any of those steps are progress. So if you are meditating, doing yoga, getting coaching, doing thought work, all that stuff, and you're still suffering, that doesn't mean it's not working. Listen, spiritual practice does not save you from the human experience. We remember the Four Noble Truths, right? The existence of suffering, human experience, the causes of it, the cessation of it, and the path to help stop it. But when we meditate, when we do all that, it doesn't remove us from the human experience. You remember the story of the double arrows, the two arrows. The first arrow is the pain, right? Like we're going to feel pain. We're in a body. We're humans. We're part of this human experience. But when The second arrow is what we do to ourselves after life happens, right? And we go, oh, see, I'm not cut out for this, or why does this always happen to me? Or see, no one's got my back. The world isn't a safe place, or I can't trust people. All those things. Those are the second arrow that creates so much more emotional suffering. Yeah. So when we're wondering, am I making progress? It's not a matter of, okay, is this because, like, why aren't I happy all the time now? Why why am I still bitchy to my partner or yelling at my kids, or why don't I show up better as a friend, right? Listen, it takes time, and this is the human experience. Less intensely, less duration, less frequency, even a little change in any of those is progress. And we have the upward spiral where we're going to revisit this shit our whole life. These are life lessons, not like seasonal lessons, not like you get a graduation certificate and you're done. These are life lessons that many of us have. Life lessons around feeling worthy, life lessons around creating boundaries, life lessons around buffering, trying to escape difficult emotions. Yeah. So we want to watch out for if we're thinking we're not making progress because it doesn't look like how we think it should look like. And then we're going to ask those three questions. The other thing is we have to continue our practice, right? It's in the everyday that we make this progress. It's not just sitting on the cushion, not just grand gestures of going on a meditation retreat or having a psychedelic journey. Those things can be super helpful. But where we make real progress is in our day-to-day practice. This is why with psychedelic journeys, integration is key to long-lasting change, right? This is why daily meditation for 10 minutes is so much more beneficial than a long retreat a couple times a year. It's in the everyday we have to practice, okay? So letting go of the expectation of what we think it should look like and committing to the daily practice. And to reassess and look with mindfulness and intention at our progress. Like it really did make a difference. I am. Like even if I still did it, now I'm mindful I'm doing it and I'm taking the time to reflect on how it could go differently. Yeah. This mindset also helps us to continue to make change because I tell you what, if you're shitting on yourself all the time, you're not going to be making the progress that you want, because when we are feeling ashamed and guilty and defeated, we actually do more things like not meditate. We go over a drink instead, stay up watching Netflix. We don't work on our business. We go distract ourselves with something else that seems productive but isn't, right? So my hope is that you are able to see that you are very likely making progress more than you think you are, right? You are noticing decreased intensity, duration, and frequency. You are starting to embrace that, fuck, I guess this is a thing that's going to come around on that spiral every now and then, but every time it does, I commit to doing it differently. I commit to living more authentically, acting from my more wise, compassionate, and love mind, living more fully, being more kind. I commit to that every time this comes around again, even if it's just Kaizen, just a little step. Okay? Okay, lovelies. So, episode 100 of the Rebel Buddhist podcast dropping tomorrow. It's going to have a lot more on this. Freedom School is open for April. We are doing body love, body thrive. We're doing cleanses. We are just rocking it in there with natural approaches to mental health, which I'm actually going to talk about today. So sign up now so you can hop on the call. But you'll get the recording if you do it a little later. Go to joinfreedomschool.com. Joinfreedomschool.com. Join us. We're going to have a blast in there. And oh my gosh, we've got so many good topics coming up, like rewriting your new life story. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites coming up. Ooh, emotional wellness around Mother's Day, because some of us have mommy issues. So, so much goodness coming up. Okay, head over there, joinfreedomschool.com. I can't wait to see you. And please celebrate episode 100 of the Rebel Buddhist podcast dropping. Okay, loves. Bye. You are so welcome. Yes. Bye, all. Oh, right on. Oh my gosh, I can't see this other comment here. Oh, hey, Mel. What's up? Bye, Melissa. Thank you. You are so welcome. Okay, I will talk to y'all later. Ciao.